Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Julie Smyth. Today's top stories. Brexit talks go down to the wire. A Waterford councillor expresses his shock at the dumping of a dead dog in Portlaw. And in sport, Waterford FC's appeal against the season-ending defeat away to Finn Harps has bin rejected. The Taoiseach has said it would be a significant failure if a Brexit deal doesn't get done this week. But Micheál Martin has said it will be very challenging to close the gaps that remain on fisheries and the level playing field. Our political correspondent Sean Defoe reports.
Wednesday has now emerged as the EU's deadline for finishing these negotiations after Michel Barnier briefed ambassadors and MEPs this morning. He was quick to dismiss the suggestion that there's been a breakthrough on fisheries after more than 10 hours of talks yesterday. The mood within the Irish government is still that a deal should get done, but Taoiseach Micheál Martin has warned there's lots of work still to do.
But overall, I think it's in the best interests of all concerned that a proper trade deal is agreed because our respective economies across Europe and within the United Kingdom would suffer unnecessarily, in my view, in the event of a no deal. When I say unnecessarily, I mean a deal can be arrived at. I think it would be a significant failure if we were to end up with a no deal.
The last disagreements are over fishing, access to UK waters and a transition period for EU and Irish boats leaving them, as well as the level playing field, including things like state aid, which could see British companies having an advantage over those in the EU bloc. Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Commission President Ursula von der Leyen are due to speak this evening as the endgame draws near.
There have been 11 more deaths on Irish roads this year than during the same period last year. That's despite a sharp reduction in traffic volumes due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In the first 11 months of 2019, there were 125 deaths, rising to 136 during the same period this year. Brian Farrell from the Road Safety Authority says it's very concerning.
I suppose when we came into the summer months, we saw road deaths running at above average. The month of August, we saw a doubling in the number of road deaths in that month. And again, that may be down to the fact that there were more people staycationing and travelling and the roads were just much, much busier. But the two groups that have stood out this year in terms of increased fatalities are passengers and pedestrians.
A Waterford councillor says he was shocked to hear a dead dog was dumped near Portlaw over the weekend. It appears to have been left by the bottle bank at the GA pitch sometime between Saturday evening and Sunday morning. Declan Clune said he hopes anyone who saw anything in the area will come forward.
The dog was clearly just thrown out of a car or van or possibly, some vehicle that was in the area. I was quite reluctant to even put up the photographs because they are a little bit graphic, but at the same time I thought it was important to get some kind of word out about it just in case somebody did notice, and if we can get any information at all to try and figure out who left this dog there or what the circumstances of it, or I think we're kind of obliged to do that because, again, it was an absolutely shocking sight on a Sunday morning.
Just 1 in 10 students in third level education is from a disadvantaged background. New research from the Higher Education Authority shows a massive imbalance in those who go on to study after secondary school. Trinity in Dublin has the highest number of students from affluent areas, while Letterkenny Institute of Technology has the highest proportion of students from disadvantaged areas. At Waterford Institute of Technology, 17% of students are from a disadvantaged background, 41% are marginally below average and 6% affluent. Finance and medicine are the courses most likely to include affluent students, while childcare and sports courses have more disadvantaged students. Katrina Ryan from the HEA is warning against comparing colleges based on this data.
We have some very large higher education institutions and they could be doing very well in terms of increasing their actual numbers of students from disadvantaged areas and could be growing them year on year. But because they also have a high number of affluent students, their average DIS may look higher. It's very easy to compare and say, oh, look at Trinity and look at this other institution and have a headline, one institution isn't supporting disadvantaged students. And I don't think that would be fair.
An expert in the Viking Age says Woodstown in Waterford is a settlement of huge national and international importance. A conservation management plan has been launched for the site, which dates back to 850 AD and was discovered in 2003. It was declared a national monument and the route of the N25 Waterford City bypass was altered to preserve it. John Sheehan is a senior lecturer at UCC. He says only a small portion of the site has been excavated.
But even this has produced very exciting results. We know that it was an extensive settlement that contained houses, streets, that it was a centre of industrial activity, and trade, manufacturing and metalworking were carried out here, as well as textile manufacturing and other types of craft production.
Mark White from Mark White Taekwondo and Fitness has raised over €14,000 for WLR's Be a Little Star Christmas appeal for the St Vincent de Paul. Mark organised and took part in a 12-hour rowathon cycling challenge. 12 rowers and 24 cyclists came from every level of fitness and pushed themselves to raise the much-needed funds for the Waterford chapter of St Vincent de Paul. Speaking on the Big Breakfast Blab, Mark said it was a fantastic effort by all involved.
Oh, by far, it's over 6,000 up on last year. At the moment, it stands at 14,000 and rising. So there's still some donations trickling in as well. So all the team and the community are fantastic with all the donations. The staff and the committee of the Tramore AFC for accommodating us. It wouldn't have been possible without them as well, nearly.
It's one of many fundraising events taking place between now and Christmas. Check out christmasappeal.ie for more. Well, 307 pupils in Bunskull Bohernanav in Lismore are getting excited for Sunday's All-Ireland final. 4 past pupils are members of the squad: Irla Daly, Kieran and Stephen Bennett and Jack Prendergast. Principal Sean Prendergast has been teaching at the school for over 40 years. He told Damien Tiernan he's seen many talented players in his day.
Jack and Kieran and Stephen and Irla. They were talented, young fellas are born with that kind of talent, but like I said to you, you have to work at it after to achieve what they can. But there's always talented hurlers here in the field, and they were very talented in the year. They won the primary schools county A championship every year they were here, the 4 of them now. But we would be thereabouts most years. Ourselves and Ballygunner would be the big rivalry in that. We'd be hopeful again this year with this crew.
The WLR Club Daoise 2020 All-Ireland Final Preview takes place this coming Wednesday night from 8. Join Kieran O'Connor, Damien Tiernan and an expert hurling panel live on WLR, Facebook Live, YouTube Live and Instagram Live. It's a free event and donations are being sought to help Club Daoise help our Waterford teams. Nick Cannell, Club Daoise Secretary, has the details.
We have a big build-up this week, and especially for the match on Sunday. So I know WLR and Club Daoise, they're running a preview night this Wednesday at 8 p.m, and it's going to be live from the Park Hotel Dungarvan. I do know there's going to be a bit of a Sunday game twist with the microphones outside. Along with an all-star panel, we've Ken McGrath, there's Dan Shanahan, TJ Ryan, former Limerick all-star, our manager, and then Brendan Cummins of Tipperary and RTE Pundit.
Follow WLR and Club Daoise on social media for all the latest. And finally, if you're in need of some flags and bunting ahead of the final on Sunday, Waterford GA has 2 pop-up shops today. Currently, there's one at Welsh Park, which will be open until 2:30, just inside the players' entrance there. And also then this evening at Farrer Field from 5:30 to 7:30.
WLR Sport.
With Virgin Media, George's Street, Waterford. Wishing all our customers a happy and sporty Christmas.
A very good afternoon from the sports desk. I'm Nigel Kelly. We will start with soccer, where Waterford FC's appeal against the season-ending defeat away to Finn Harps has been rejected. The Blues missed out on a potential place in next season's Europa League qualifiers after the 1-0 loss in Donegal last month. Waterford FC were unhappy with the fielding of Shane McElhaney, who was due to start suspension that night. However, the club has confirmed that the FAI has ruled the appeal out of order. Staying with soccer, and the Republic of Ireland will find out who their opponents for next year's World Cup qualifiers are when the draw is held in Zurich later today. Stephen Kenny's side enter the draw in pot 3 after failing to win a game in 2020. In total, 55 teams will be split into 5 groups of 5 and 5 groups of 6 when the draw takes place at 5 o'clock this evening. The qualifiers will be played between March and November next year for the right to play at the World Cup in Qatar in November and December 2022. While Southampton can move to within a point of the Premier League's top 4 if they can win away to Brighton this evening. Kick-off at the Amex is at 8 o'clock. On to Gaelic games, and it is 6 days to go until the All-Ireland final, when Waterford will be hoping to lay their hands on the Lee McCarthy Cup for the first time since 1959. It's a repeat of the Munster final this weekend as the Daoise face Limerick in the showpiece decider at GAA HQ. Despite knowing that the final marked the end of the campaign, Conor Prunty says that the team have been taking it one game at a time.
I suppose we've been really kind of going from game to game is the way it's gone now, kind of week in, week out the last few weeks, and the last game again, I suppose the Munster final against Limerick, we were disappointed with parts of our performance, and I suppose we only had a week to get it right, then turn around to Clare, and we got back on the field to fix a small few issues, and then out on week since then.
And same with Gaelic Games, where splitting Dublin in the near future is the wrong option, according to former All-Ireland winner with Kerry Kieran Donaghy. The Dubs are one win away from making it 6 All-Ireland titles in a row following their 15-point win over Cavan on Saturday night. Donaghy says the GAA needs to look at other ways of making the Football Championship more competitive.
I think if the GAA are going to do nothing to reverse the trend, maybe in 10, 15 years they'll have to be split. This Dublin team, I refuse to kind of say that money has brought these players to this point in this success. I think it's helped. They've got a fantastic setup. They've no mileage. They're able to spend all their money, in giving the team the best possible chance to go out and perform. Splitting them for me is only if we don't do anything else. I think there's other stuff that we can do in the meantime. We obviously have to reverse the huge funding issue that is a factor.
And in golf, it's been confirmed that Royal Liverpool and Royal Troon will host the Open in 2023 and 2024 respectively. Shane Lowry was unable to defend his title at this year due to the coronavirus pandemic, which saw the tournament calendar reshuffled. Royal St George's in Kent will now stage it in July 2021, with St Andrews the venue for the 150th Open in 2022. Sports news on WLR is thanks to Virgin Media Waterford. WLR asks you to double your efforts to reduce the spread of COVID-19 in Waterford.